Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Gaudence Nyambeta, and in this video I'm going to share with you a word that I received in my dream, and I thought it is important for me to share it. So in my dream, I was in a scenario with a tall white man. That white man was I was meant to understand that that man had sent a black man who was having a hat on his head made out of newspaper, and on a brown horse was he riding, and he was to be sent to Egypt. And I perceived as if I was in Europe, like I perceived as if I was with this white man, not being in Africa in that sense, in that moment, in that dream. I live in Germany, but anyway, and I was speaking to this white man, tall white man, and I had the implication and the knowing that the man had sent an information to the Egyptians, to Egypt, and it was to provoke them into war. And it was a bait, it was a trap. It was an information given to them which was not correct. It was a trap so that they may decide to retaliate. They may decide to defend themselves or to join to come into war against them. And the Egyptians fell into that trap. And so they at the beginning wanted actually to fight them, but they didn't know how to do it. Instead, they gave them a bait, I gave them a trap to come into that war by wanting to defend themselves, and now so that they can literally have the upper hand and say, anyway, this is the kind of war we wanted. You have started it, let's now also defend ourselves and now fight against you. And that was the intention from the word go. When I perceived that, I told this man, how can you do that? Are you really human for you to do that? And he scoffed off, saying, who cares? Like, what's humanity? He really didn't have an ounce of emotion of empath in him. And when I asked him, "Oh, how unfair can you be? Are you really even human that you can do? And that's not human. Are you really human for you to do such a kind of a thing?" And he scoffed it off and said, who cares? I mean, it was like literally to say, who cares about humanity? And he really meant it. It was, for him, it was like, I don't mind about that. What's humanity? I don't mind about it. And I came out of that dream, and I don't know even today what that dream means. And I hope, as I'm relaying it, as I'm speaking of it, that someone will have a revelation of it. There are some people, especially maybe because of the man who was white, and I perceived I was in Europe in that sense, that they could bait those who can really not defend themselves, who cannot stand even against the Europeans or the Western to fight against them. They can bait them into war, in incitement, in giving them information which is wrong, which will make them want to come to defend themselves. Yet it is just a trap. So why God gave me that dream, I don't know. But the trap was sent to Egypt, that they may come in war, so that these other Caucasian white men who wanted to literally have a war against them, now they can officially have the war that they wanted, because their trap was set, and the Egyptians took the bait, and there it went. And knowing that they were stronger than Egyptians, it is going to be a grievous war. And he didn't mind. I'm like, I'm asking him, are you really human for you to do such? And he was so unbothered. Like, what? It really just showing how many other people also do not are not impressed. What is humanity? For them, is humanity is nothing, is not of any found any of any value. And maybe that is why we see a lot of wars around, because that answer of that fundamental answer of us all being humans and being treated as humans who are having the same needs regardless of where you are is not answered, is not understood. Not all of us have that perspective and understanding. And some are seeing humans as just a commodity, as a thing that you can literally do as you desire of it if you have the power and the if you have the power of it. So that is the portion of the dream that I had that I wanted to share. I hope when God reveals, He redeems. That as He has revealed it in my dream and to someone else, of course, concerning it, that the Egyptians will not take the the um, the trap, the bait to go to war. Instead, if they don't go to war, they are forced to sit on their own mischiefs, which did not amount into their intentions. So when we decisions that concerning this has to be made with a lot of wisdom of God, with a lot of, yeah, it's the wisdom of God that can help us make the right decisions so that we do not fall to the trap and the baits of the enemy. And actually, when I think of it, falling and the tap and the to the bait of the enemy, emotions are one of the ways that the enemy traps and baits us so that he can have us act out of our character, act of the will of God, or just mess our day and to end up having other results instead of making our day to be fruitful as the Lord has desired of it. So missing that blessing of that day because we are not going to have it back again, isn't it? And yeah, and I think that is one thing we should learn also from it. Like, not only are we called into that bait to go the war with the enemy by through our emotions, so that he can have a crack in our lives to come and, you know, attack us, but we can also really be watchful and and look into and be more discerning. Like, is this something worth for me to lose my peace over, or is it a trap? Is it a bait? So that you may not fall into that trap and end up giving your upper hand to the enemy. Thank you so much for joining me today. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you.